Light in the Darkness and Darkness in the Light. January 24, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. We briefly discussed the Ancient Religion of Mandamus, aka magic. This Celtic religion defined things in terms of opposites and balancing of opposites around a 0 point, the point of creation balancing the Great Dipole, which is endlessly repeated and which resonates throughout all creation, including within each one of us. DNA is not just a pattern of amino acids. It is an antenna, a multi-channel trilateral transceiver. The messages picked up by this antenna lock and unlock a vast number of epigenetic codes and variations operating at different frequencies and different scales, like musical scales, within your biological and electronic organism. You may think of this, in analogy, as involving different kinds of media. Imagine a machine that can play any kind of media you are familiar with: CDs and DVDs, floppy disks, cassette tapes, TV, film, MP3s, live TV, radio, 8-track, USB, you name it, this machine can play it. Now imagine that you can tune this machine into any form of media or source signal you like. Your DNA receives signals in the same way as this machine, and sends signals out through the entire network of ordered energy entities in the universe, not just to your organism, that is, your space suit and its electromagnetic field, but to all the rest of the created universe as well. Make no mistake. Everything that you see and sense and come to know is created. Rocks are created. Elements are created. It's all math, physics, chemistry, electronics, sound dynamics, magnetism, and vast amounts of energy, and it all derives from interactions among simple dipolar systems. Sound 1 or silence 0 or neutral plus or minus positive 1 or negative 0 or neutral plus or minus pixel 1 or antipixel 0 or neutral plus or minus. You get the idea. Just as binary computer systems speaks a binary language of zeros and ones, a trinary computer system speaks a trinary language of zeros, ones, and neutrals. So, in such a system, there are three states of being, symbolized by the maid, mother, and crone, one side of the dipole, and the boy, man, and sage, the other side of the dipole, and now you come to the direction of the energy, toward the light or toward the darkness, or as the Celts put it, the right-hand path, or the left-hand path. Now, depending on how you are talking about this, it can sound like sorcery or it can sound like advanced physics, but not advanced physics as we have been taught in school. Notice a couple of things. 1. This system is set up to maintain an eternal balance, a complete 0 point overall, and 2. All movement in this system is an illusion. What creates the illusion of constant movement in the presence of eternal stillness is a donut-shaped toroidal electromagnetic field twisted into the form of a Mobius strip. It's a closed loop with all force vectors zeroed out at the center, but kept in constant flow by magnetic constants. Those who are familiar with math will now be slapping themselves, a 3D infinity symbol. Those familiar with physics will also be leaping ahead, but what we want to notice next is what the ancient peoples of the earth noticed. The 0 point is a time without a time and a place without a place, because otherwise, time is location. The 0 point is a portal outside of time and place. The other notable take-home message is that while in transition from one extreme to the other, light and darkness pollute each other to a greater or lesser extent, as they translate one into the other, until they come to a tipping point when they are completely balanced. It is that position of neutrality which is the ultimate position of power. In terms of the Celtic wheel, the queens of high summer are ironically the queens of death and cold. Why? Because they turn the corner heading into darkness. Just as ironically, the queens of midwinter are the queens of life and warmth. It's exactly the opposite of what you might suppose. In the same way, you might think that the position of power within the sequence of maid, mother, and crone would be either the maid in full potential, or the crone unleashing potential, but again, it's the mother who holds the secret to both the maid and the crone, and it is the neutral, middle position that guards all the rest, by being able to wield both hot and cold. So in the realm of Celtic religion you begin new enterprises under the new moon, the maid, and you finish them under the full moon, the crone, and in between the cycle that mirrors the Great Dipole, is either waxing or waning as the light grows in the darkness, or the darkness grows in the light, and that whole process on both sides of the cycle is ruled by the Great Mother, who gives birth and substance to both the light and dark. All of this mirrors the physics and math underlying our existence, the same way a fable or a parable reveals an eternal truth. So however you come to the truth, through the math or through the parables of an extremely ancient religion, you still arrive at the truth. All this has been preserved for us, generation to generation, season to season, by the ancient religion of the Celts, and most notably, as it is still practiced in Western Ireland, Scotland, and the Outer Islands. Who knew? The secrets of the universe were hidden in plain view, discussed over tea, and shared by schoolchildren at recess. If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from Ed's website wellnessrods.com. Thank you.